Mr. Speaker, I want to finish by tackling another neurological disease, devastating multiple sclerosis. It affects 55 to 75,000 Canadians. 400 die each year of the disease. Many of them take their own life. Suicide rate in MS patients is 7 times that of the national population. In May of 2010, my colleague from St. Paul's and myself brought the fight for clinical trials and a registry for chronic cerebral spinal venous insufficiency, or CCSVI, to Parliament. Almost a year later, in March of 2011, the government announced a registry, although it will not actually start until July 2012. In June 2011, the government at last announced clinical trials. I want to be very clear, right now all we have is announcements. What we need is action. Canadians with MS cannot afford to wait. Mr. Speaker, instead of tracking patients who had had the CCSVI procedure and developing the most appropriate scales to measure any health impacts following treatment, MS patients were left with no follow-up, and important data was lost post-procedure at 1, 3, 6, 12, and 24 months. Since when do scientists fail to collect data, or worse, choose not to gather evidence? Mr. Speaker, the CIHR is currently recommending Phase 1 or Phase 2 clinical trials for CCSVI. I would argue that there is no need for a Phase 1 trial, which is usually undertaken to assess safety. Angioplasty is an accepted standard of care practice in Canada. I would therefore suggest that we need an adaptive Phase 2 or 3 trial, i.e. clinical trials for the CCSVI procedure in multiple centres across Canada. Mr. Speaker, let me finish by saying thank you to my riding, to the stakeholders in the environment, health, and particularly neurological disease. And finally, to all those living with MS, you inspire me every day. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.